I would say that the first thing you should do is make it a matter of prayer and lay it all before the Lord and explain to the Lord that you really believe that the youth group needs to be more active, more involved, more engaged, and you be the one who starts the change. You use a grassroots kind of approach, right? You come up and you speak to youth group leaders, ask them, how can I be involved? What can I do to make this work better?
I like that.
Start.
I was going to say address it by asking questions, not by giving all kinds of orders as if you know all the answers, but address it by way of questions, and then let the concern be awakened within the group, among the leadership and the young people themselves. The danger of holier than thou attitude, you want to avoid that. Don't be too impatient. Like, don't too quickly think, oh, there's no response. I'm going to give up. I'm going to go to another church. Think of examples in the Bible where people persevered in trying to be an influence for good, and over time they were. So that's one aspect. The other is maybe get others involved in trying to stir up new interest. Maybe get the pastor involved. Maybe get parents involved. Maybe suggest social activities or social ministry and start that way. Just as an idea.
Yeah, it would seem to me if you're one person who has this concern, most likely there's one or two more who have that concern, and then you can find them out, right? And get together, and maybe if the youth group as a whole is not doing things, two or three of you go visit some senior people, or go and do something together, study God's Word together. And who knows, if you spend time doing that, praying together for a revival among the youth of the congregation, the Lord can bless that immensely. But it has to start somewhere, and let you be the one to start it.
Be encouraged with little improvements.
Yeah.
And then it'll grow.
Yeah.
I think too, like, spiritual conversations aren't going to just appear in a vacuum. A lot of times you need to develop a relationship, and that's how it'll come. And like you've heard, just start simple, organize some game nights, learn to spend time together, and take initiative to set something up through WhatsApp, text, whatever. Find a way to get together as a group of young people in your church, and just get together and spend some time together. And you might be surprised who you find and meet and find some connections with.
Yeah, that's true. And I think too, if you get a couple of three of you together and you go and see the elders of the church, and you express to them with all the love that you have, your concern, and you want to be involved, and you go to them and you say to them, how can we be involved in this church more? What can we do for our church? Rather than, like you said at the beginning, what can the church do for me? What can we do in this church? Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Be the change you want to see. That's
Yeah, very good. Be the change you want to see.
I've seen a youth group become so active and so involved that they began a band, and they taught each other how to play drums and how to play the trombone and the trumpet and violins and whatever, and they did that all on Sunday afternoons between church services. And then at Christmas time they hosted a potluck dinner, and we had a sing-along, and they were the music, and it was amazing. And the whole church, from older people to middle-aged people and children, and nearly everyone came and enjoyed it immensely. And it was just a way that it shows that youth group can be very active and can change things, and can be a blessing to the whole congregation. And the elders and the leadership just loved it. It was amazing. That's one way.
In my time in Chilliwack, we had a Gift of Life chorus, which was a group of young people got together, became a great choir, became known in the community,
Yeah.
and they did fundraisers. So they would sing for an evening, and the money would go to Word and Deed Project, and they would make thousands of dollars for God's glory. In my own youth, I remember coming together as young people and having times of singing for sometimes 2 hours, one favorite after the other. It was exhilarating. I still think back on it with fondness, and it was so good for us, praising God. I don't know how much that will go today, but I think even here, singing is good. People, the young youth enjoy singing. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I've also heard of a youth group that they got together, I think, several times a year to organize a meal for seniors. And the youth would put the meal on, they'd take care of everything. And then they'd invite the seniors to the meal, and they'd serve them. And in the process, they would also just be chatting with the seniors. They could sit around and have the meal together with them, be asking them whatever questions they wanted. And it proved to be such a joy for both parties. The seniors loved the opportunity to get to know the youth, and the youth loved to learn the stories that the elderly had, and it was a really special time.
Yeah, there seems to be often a disconnect,
Mhm.
right, between the older generation and the younger, and it seems to me that the younger generation can bridge that gap much easier than the seniors can. Senior people are not going to come to a youth group meeting, but if you invite them to a dinner you prepared for them, they will come, and they love it. They love to share, like Jeff said, their stories from how they came from wherever they came to now, and we can learn so much from our senior people. That they've been there, they've done that, you know.
The Arcaya camp seems to be a bit of an exception. So we have elderly cooks, we have some elderly chaperones. They just love being here, and I think the youth really respect them. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's great
Yeah.
to see.